go. What's up, everybody? BJH13 says, Aaron, do you already have a video of using OBS to stream to YouTube? No, I've actually never streamed to YouTube, so I wouldn't even know where to start with something like that. But where I would know where to start is with this handy new Arizona green tea phone case that I got in the mail today, which is pretty awesome. Along with, and it's almost like my emote, but on a phone too. But then also I got this great Buy 99 t-shirt on the Arizona Tea merch website, so I'm very excited about that. Anyways, what's up, guys? Halvard is here. Joe Bruin made it. Joe Bruin, I know, was like, I want to catch one of these streams. So now you have. This is actually the first of hopefully many. I did like an experimental one where I was like, should I do these? Would people want these? And it seemed like the people who were watching him were appreciating him. So here we go. Obviously, I do have a YouTube series that if you go and you click that link in the chat, you can find all of the videos that I made specifically for YouTube, teaching how to do streaming stuff. Some of them are actually out of date, so I will have to go back and remake some of those. But that's just because there's been a lot of patches lately for things. So a lot of the way that things look have changed, but the ways that they work really haven't all that much. BJ says, I'm excited the horror podcast I'm on is going to start using Zoom and OBS to handle it. So I wanted to learn what you have to teach. Ooh, okay, awesome. So during this show, if you have questions that you think I can answer that will help you get where you want to go for that project, definitely ask them. I think what I want to do is cover the topics that you see here first. And then once we've gone through those and anyone's had any Q&A about how this stuff is, then I'll just like open up the floor and you guys just like hit me with whatever that you can think of that you think will help you do better things. So without further ado, Halvard says, so frustrated after Arena Kings today. Should have beat both Naka and Gata. Aww. Next time, man. You got to see that tweet of Naka like whining when his internet went down while he's puzzle rushing. Okay, so the first topic I've got is a really, really simple one. But it's one that I wouldn't have thought of when I was first using OBS. It's something that I had to learn reading a forum about a similar topic. And that's, there's a very simple way that you can improve the quality of using text sources in OBS Studio. So let's see what that looks like. I just made a quick scene to demonstrate what two different text sources could look like at the same size. And there's only one difference between these two things. There's only one. And the one difference between these two is that one of them was made at a certain font size versus the other one. So I'm going to demonstrate what this looks like. But obviously, I think you could agree with me that the bottom one looks way higher quality than the top one. And you want to be able to have like text sources all the time so that you can add information to your stream impromptu without having to like have gone into Photoshop and like made a nice graphic for it. You might be like, oh, I need to put this information up and I'm already streaming, so let me just do it quick. So here's what you do, right? You add a source and you go text and you name your source whatever you like. I could say example A. So whatever you're going to remember it as when you go looking for it again later. Now the fonts, you can have any font as long as it's a font installed on your computer. So unlike other programs that will hunt down fonts and like Google Fonts for you, OBS Studio is just looking for fonts that are on your local system. So you can select a font. Hey, I've got this cute American typewriter font. I'll use that. Default size of 36. Sure. I'll click OK. I'll say, what's up, Joe Bruin? And it's a 30, and that's it. I got my text, right? but I want it to be like big. So I'm just gonna grab a corner point and drag, right? No problem. That looks good, right? Now I'm gonna do the same thing again, but I'm gonna make one difference. So go text, we'll call it example B, not that that's gonna affect the quality here. I'm even gonna call it example B, because that's just fun. All right, and I'm gonna say, what's up, Joe Bruin. Select my American typewriter font, but this time, instead of the default 36 font size, I'm gonna type 250. And I'm gonna click OK. And OK. And now look at this. I'm gonna get these relatively the same size so that you can really see what we're illustrating here. Look how much better that second one looks than the first one. And the reason why this is happening is because in like a text document program like Microsoft Word or any of the other word processing programs, when you change the size of a font, it sort of reapplies the sizing algorithms that it uses to give you the best quality for that text at that size that you want. Well, OBS is not going to do that. So when you create a text source and you make it in its 36 and then you try to stretch it to be bigger than 36, the quality is going to degrade like any image file would. So it's actually better to start out with something bigger and then scale down from it than it is to start with something smaller and scale up to it, right? Now you wouldn't think that if you didn't know it, but now you know. So this is obviously way higher quality, and this is going to kind of maintain that quality a little bit as you make it smaller. Some of the edges might get kind of sharp looking, but that's because it's trying to crush down so much more data than it actually needs. But there you go, guys. If anyone wants me to show that again, demonstrate that again, I'm happy to. If you have any questions about it, now's a decent time to bring up any questions about text sources. And I'll catch up with the chat too, because I've been yakking. Who's here? Chess Bay's here. Perpetual Stalemate. Yo. Yeah, congrats to Gold Dust Tori and Maria Photochess. Yo, partners. That's what's up. Chuck Moulton in the house. Look at that. Look at that John Bartholomew emote. I love that one. Who else do we got in here? Gold Dust Tori. Gold Dust Tori's here. What's up? Yo, why is there a party in here all of a sudden? Nick Theus, how's it going? Welcome to my little, I don't know, learn things about stream software, ask questions about streaming. Planet Chess Club's in the house. Oh, I'm dropping hype for everybody right now because there's people in here. We, of the people that are in here, are in here. Jaren's here. What's up? It's BJH's fault. Why is that? It's already upped her emo game hardcore. GDT may have spammed people about this wonderful stream. Oh, what? No, you didn't. Did you seriously? I only decided I was going to do this like 10 minutes ago. So I don't know how that's possible. Anyways, all right. So there is a quick trick on how to improve your text sources in OBS. So the next topic we were going to talk about is getting more out of your webcam. Now here's the thing about this one. The thing that I'm going to show you about this one, I don't even know if it's true. I don't even know if it's true or if it's correct or anything that I say is actually going to be beneficial for you. I will say that I did find it helped me. So I don't know, but here we go. You have your webcam, right? Here is my Logitech, what is this even? Logitech C270, all right? Now the one obviously I'm using in the stream right now is a nice 1080 camera. I'm using this other one to demonstrate this thing, but like see, this one's the 1080 and then that one's the 720. I only have the two hooked up so that I can demonstrate this one trick that I learned the other day. So, let's just go ahead and add it in like I don't even have this built into OBS yet, just to cover the bases from step 1. I'm going to click plus, video capture device. You can name this if you want, like Logitech webcam or whatever. If you've only got one cam, then why name it, right? But if you have multiple cameras, maybe it's helpful. All right, now we're going to find our camera. There it is. That's the 270. Great. Defaults, whatever, you leave them and you hit OK. All right. So that's what size this cam comes in as. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, I know that the box said that this was a 720p camera. But it comes in kind of small, doesn't it? Oh, wait, crap. I just made it smaller accidentally. Where was it? It was like this, right? About there. It comes in kind of small. And I'm looking at it, and the quality, like, it feels a little soft. Okay, so here's something that I did, right? Because you could stretch it, but then it's softer and softer the bigger you make it. Like, I don't know. Is 720 really that bad? Okay, so here's what you do. Double click or right click in properties of the webcam source. And then, see where it says resolution frames per second type? You would think, oh, device default. That's 720, right? Well, just click it and go custom. And then in resolution, select 1280 by 720. And then click OK. For some reason, this is like bigger and it's a touch better. Just a touch, right? There's a little bit more definition, like I could see the salt among the pepper more. It's a little better. I'm gonna do even more than that. I'm gonna go in, right click, and I'm gonna do properties. And then under here, for frames per second, you could just leave this to match output frames per second, because if you're outputting your stream at 30 frames, then it'll probably do that. Or you could just be like, you know what? I just want to be certain that this is outputting at 30, so I'm gonna change it to 30. And then I know it's gonna be in sync with my broadcast. The other thing you can do is, where is it? Video format. Logitech's website actually says that they prefer that you use XRGB. So instead of any, have it set to XRGB. I think. Maybe. I think that's what they said. But there you go. Now the camera is like better quality. And now when I stretch it out, like I can get it a lot bigger before I start to see the quality degrade. Now let's go back. I'm going to slap this right there, and I'm going to go back to default. And then I'm going to try to scale it back to where it was just now. Yeah, the little hairs on my beard, they're soft. They're blurry. Right? And I'm only using that as one example of what to look at. You guys could look at a lot of other things here, all right? Let's go back and do it again. I'm going to change it to custom. Click OK. It comes in bigger because, there you go. But now I'm going to bring it back to the size that the other one just was. And this is more sharp. I mean, it looks really obvious to me because I'm actually sitting here at my monitor looking at it, and you guys are looking at a stream. So maybe it's not really, I don't know. Is it, you tell me, does this look like it's definitely improving the quality to you? Let me scroll through chat and see what you guys think. Jaren says, what, you're a wizard? Perpetual Stalemate and BJH say, wow. Nick says, super helpful. You would assume that the camera knows this by default. Exactly. Perpetual Stalemate has it exactly right. We, I think, just take it as a given that if it's a plug and play thing like a webcam, that OBS would bring it in at the best possible default setting, right? But that's, you know what they say, when you assume things, you make an ass out of you and me. And I didn't know this for a while, guys. I only didn't even play with this the other day. It was just kind of a theory that I had. I was like, you know what? I don't understand why this is supposed to be. I did it with a 1080 camera too, which is what you're seeing in the actual stream right now. if I get rid of this, and this cam here is the 1080 cam. And it looked like garbage until I did this. And then I was like, oh my god, I had no idea how much better this camera is that it could have been this whole time. So you guys play with that. You let me know how that goes for you. And if it works for you the way it worked for me. Joe Bruin says, Nick, you don't even use a webcam. What are you talking about? Absolutely. Go through all of the properties. If there's something about the quality of some object in your stream that you're like, why is that so whatever? Why is that blurry? Why is that ugly? I expected it to be better. I bet you if you just play around for a little bit, honestly, that's how I learned how to stream. Is I just went into the program and I just started making every kind of source and messing with every kind of thing and just like seeing what it would allow me to do. All right, I'm going to go back to our topics here so I can remember what we're supposed to do next. What if I don't look good? How can I make my webcam as blurry as possible? You get some Vaseline and you smear it over the lens. Yeah, I also have the same question as Chuck. Oh my gosh. Even if it's just a placebo, it's working. Joe Brown says, Arn, I have to unplug my camera every time, and OBS doesn't remember it. It gets a new number every time, like camera 2, 3, and so on. Is there a fix to this? If not, that's okay. It's just annoying. My first question to you, Joe, would be, do you own any other webcams, or is that your only webcam? And I don't mean only webcam plugged into your computer like right this moment. I mean, have you ever used any other webcams with that computer besides the one that you have now at any point in the past? Firefighter says, even if it's not quality, there's a lot of cool stuff you can find that you don't realize you need until you find it in the properties. Absolutely. And I will do a future stream about this, but OBS, you can buy, I said buy, you can get all kinds of extra plugins that aren't even in OBS by default, that are developed by all kinds of different developers, because OBS, the O stands for open. I think. Whether it does or not, it's an open source program, which means that other people can take the code and they can make products out of it. Streamlabs OBS actually is that, but also there are plugins that you can download and add to your OBS Studio to do all kinds of things that you might need to do. So there might be something that you want to do and OBS Studio doesn't currently do it, but there might be a plugin out there that does. You just have to like get out there and hunt for the things that you want. BJ says, oh wow, a lot of text. Woo! Nick says he thinks it's happened to him as well. Haven't used any other webcams. Okay, that's good information. Is any other software using the camera, like browsers, Skypes, Zoom, etc.? That's a great question. So follow up with that, Joe. Are you using that camera in any other programs that might also be running at the time? Chuck says, I have a similar problem as Joe. I changed my video configuration of my webcam to match the color temperature, set the brightness, and zoom a little, but whenever I start up OBS, I need to change something again to make it work. The settings don't save. I actually also experienced that as well. And I have to say that there's definitely going to be information out there about what to do about that, but I don't know it. Bum, bum, bum. I should have like a... Is it broken? Wow, I'm such a good streamer. All my stream stuff is broken. I will say that I can demonstrate for people how to do some of that stuff, because I bet you honestly some people don't even know that they can control the sharpness, the exposure level, the color temperature of their cams. So I can actually demonstrate some of that stuff right now. Let's go back into cams, and I'm going to double click the video capture, and I'm going to go configure video. And then you'll get whatever menu the brand of webcam wants you to get for this. So you can go to like advanced settings, and usually these things will all be on auto. Like the gain will be on auto, the exposure, the white balance, all that stuff. if you really want to have like super control, you got to turn all these auto things off. Okay? Turn all the auto things off. And then get this thing out of the way of your thing so you can actually see what it's doing. And then just start dragging things around. And what I like to do is I like to go too far in one direction, where I'm like, okay, that's obviously too much. And then start to go back in the other direction until I'm like, okay, that's obviously too much. And then continue to split the difference between the two until I feel like I've found, like, oh, that right there seems the best, as I slowly start to whittle and tighten. Everything else looks fine. I could probably bring a little bit of brightness back. The contrast, I could be, whoa, that's way too much. Go back way, that's too little. And then you just kind of keep fishing until you're like, all right, that feels natural. There's no such thing as like, oh, it's perfect. It's just, you look at it, does it feel natural to you? Yeah, that's what I see when I look in the mirror, I guess. Great. Then you're good. White balance is more of like the colors, right? I'm going to pull this down. It's way too cold. Very blue. Pull it up too far the other way. It's very orange, very yellow. Just, again, go left to right. Find the happy medium between the two and hit save. Now, yes, as Chuck was saying, you might shut your computer down after this stream, come back, and that's all back to auto again. And I have to say, I don't think it's an OBS problem. I think it's the manufacturer of the camera. And usually it's because their default software is not very sophisticated and it doesn't remember changes that you make. Probably beyond the session that you're currently in. BJH says, I use the Logitech 910 or whatever. It makes a huge difference when everyone else is on a laptop. You mean like you using a 1080 webcam is definitely better than on a laptop webcam? 96 bits from Nick. These tips deserve my upgrading to a new bits badge. Thank you, man. Thank you. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Open broadcast software. That's why OBS can't see it. It can only be used once. I just assume Sam is laughing at you. Maybe. Open BS. That's right, folk you. I am offended that Nick Theus has a better bit badge than I do. Whoa! 1,000 bits from Chuck. Holy crap. Do I have like a... Do I have music for Chuck? I don't know if you can hear it, but I can, and I'm jamming to it. Thanks for those bits, man. Holy crap. Nick says, so Chuck, if I cheered 900 more, will you cheer 4,000 more? If so, Arn Hawaii, please DM me. I have a business offer. Perpetual says, that's a question for a future Arn to respond to. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to write down. You know what, guys? That's a great idea. I should have a notepad in here where I write down every question that comes up in a show that I don't have the answer to. And then I research it and I have the answer on the next show. I love that. Plus, I could put it in like the topics thing for the next time. All right, so let's go. Why doesn't cam settings stay after restart? Boom. Got it. Chuck and others, I've got it right here. It's going in the next show. Perpetual Stalemate just really knows how to keep it real. It's okay, Arn. I still have many other questions later on that I bet you can answer. Awesome. Simon has questions. I have a question too. Sometimes it's happened. Sometimes Streamlabs stuff like the event list or the goal will be way oversized. So you're saying that you get it in OBS and it's exactly the size that you like and it's all set up and you're happy, and then you go to bed for the night, you shut your computer down, you come up the next day to stream, you open OBS, and all of these widgets and things are like way too big now? And if so, is everything all of a sudden too big or only like certain things? Because if it happens across the board, then I probably know what the problem is. But if it happens only to certain things, then let me know what those certain things are, and I might have an answer for that too. It's insane how much customizability you can do, especially in Streamlabs OBS. Absolutely. That number 2 badge working out for you, buddy? You like the look of silver? 2's a pretty low number, I guess. Not as good as 1, but it's okay if you're into that sort of thing. Oh my gosh. All right. Nick and Chuck are going off on their own little thing. I found it works best when I match the webcam color temperature to the temperature of my lights. Exactly. Not a lot of people know this, but all of the lighting sources that you have a kind of wavelength, right? A color temperature wavelength that they're creating. And if you're using different kinds of lights all at the same time, then you're going to probably have competing color issues. This side of my face will look very green, while this side of my face will look very pink. And if I try to get rid of the green, well, then the pink just becomes more pink. That sounds like a color temperature problem. In any professional photography setting, all of the lights that are in the room during the photography session, they are all balanced to the same color temperature, whether it's 5600 Kelvin or 6200 Kelvin or 4900 Kelvin. Every light that you own, you could look it up. It either is in the specs of, like, you buy a ring light from eBay to stream with. Well, it'll say somewhere what the color temperature is. Regular light bulbs in your house, when you buy them, you look at the packaging, it'll tell you. So if you have the ability in your camera properties interface to actually slide around on a color temperature slider that gives you the actual Kelvin number, then you could set it to that number and it will be correct. And what we're talking about with white balance is if you have an object that is pure white. Now, I don't have anything in here that is, but let's just say, for example, that I knew that this white of this box was pure white. Then the idea is I should be able to hold this box up in front of the camera and color balance off of this white until it looks pure white, right? It's not a little pink, it's not a little blue, it is white. Then everything else that happens in that same lighting should also be correct, right? The skin tones should be correct. So that's what we mean by color balancing. Let's see. It's pronounced like Tice. Oh, cool. Aaron, this is such an amazing stream. Look forward to these every time you're on. Thank you. As soon as I start the next stream, this stuff is too big. Only Streamlabs stuff. Everything else is fine. And are you using Streamlabs OBS or OBS Studio? Which one? My event source always seems to change between streams. Might be a similar problem. Now, how does it change? In what way does it change, Joe? Okay, so OBS Studio for Simon, and you're saying that Streamlabs stuff, so basically browser sources, right? Like you go onto the Streamlabs website, you copy the URL of the widget, and then you create a browser source in OBS Studio, and you paste the link, and then that's how you're doing it, right? Speaking of which, I've kind of had issues with that recently. Well, let's take a look. I'm going to grab a widget that I have for something that I can test with. How about we just go ahead and add some kind of widget right now to this stream? Or you know what? Boop. Yeah, we'll just add one. And then we'll play with it, and maybe you'll spot something that I'm doing that you weren't doing, and then, I don't know, maybe that fixes your problem. Or you say, hey, I did it exactly the way that you just did it right now, and I'm having issues. Speaking of which, guys, I can kind of show you how some things have changed on the Streamlabs website. If you haven't been there for a while, they changed the dashboard, like, a lot. And it's still kind of hard for me to find things now because I'm used to finding them in specific ways. The events will not be visible, but when I click on events, I still see the border for it outlined in red, but it's a very thin line, and it won't let me resize it normally. It just seems to flip but never expand. I don't know if that makes any sense. Well, I can show you one thing that might be causing that. But let's go ahead and I'll add an event widget. And by the way, guys, the widgets thing is up here now, annoyingly. And then, like, they did it this way. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to click event list. And then I'm going to grab the link, copy that, and then we're going to slap it into OBS. I'm going to go to our better text scene, just so that I do it in a scene that we can see what we're doing here. I'm going to add a browser source. We'll call it events, like not like it matters. I'm going to paste the URL there. And notice that there's a width and a height here. Let's ignore that for the moment and just click OK. So I'm going with the defaults. There's my event list. Now, you see how I don't see names for the top two items? I just see 1000 bits and 96 bits. The reason for that is that the name, the username, is too long to fit in the box. And if it's too long to fit in the box, then it just is blank. It pretends that there's no name at all. So here's how we fix that. Go back into the thing, and then just change the width. Well, now I want it to be like 1500 wide, and click OK. Now it's going to change, the whole bounding box is going to change size. But see, now I got the full names. So that's part of it. And you may have to go in, and if that widget is giving you trouble, go in there and try stuff like that. Change the size. Make sure that none of these are actually cropped in. Like hold Alt and drag. If it's cropped in, it'll be green, right? If it's pulled all the way out and can't be out anymore, then it'll go back to being red. Like just double check all that stuff. What else do we got? And that might be why you're not seeing the events. It's possible that that the scaling is not right for the browser widget, and you have to go in the properties and change it. My fix has always just been to remove and add the event's browser source again. One of the other things you can do is you can go in here and you can refresh the cache of things, which also might kind of jumpstart the issue that you're having. Kick it back into life. Just click refresh cache of current page and then OK. Give it a moment and then it will wake itself back up. And that might make it so that you don't have to keep deleting the source and re-adding it to wake it up. Also, and I don't remember for sure what these things do, but you can do stuff like you could check refresh browser when scene becomes active. And that might do it to where every time you go back into that scene from a different scene, it kind of gives it a little, hey, wake up, refresh, double check. Yeah, it pretty much did because I just clicked it out and now it's trying to wake itself up again. Gold Dust Tori says, it takes me like 10 minutes to find the alert box whenever I need to change something now. Not a fan of the new changes. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Now, if you use Streamlabs OBS, all of the widgets and things, those are actually, you can grab and configure those internally in the program rather than having to copy the URLs and bring them as a browser source. But if you're using OBS Studio, you cannot connect it to Streamlabs OBS. So you have to continue to do it the old way. Hey, wait a minute, this isn't ASMR, says Chess. What's up? Did you all screenshot that browser source URL so we can all put RNY's event box in our streams? I hope you do. I hope you do, guys. So you go in there and you're streaming and then you see like, oh, I just got a sub. Oh, wait, no, it was Aaron got a sub. Never mind. All right, let's go back and let me see what other topics I've got. Ooh, this is a good one. How to color key, and specifically with the selector. Because this is something that I didn't even know about until a few days ago when a good streamer friend of mine, Ragnazukin, who deserves a shout out for being an amazing streamer and was hanging out with me in Studio C during Bullet Chess Championship, just sitting behind me, kind of observing. But he's a partner streamer on Twitch. You should click the thing, check him out. We streamed with him last night, and he's awesome. So, how to color key with the selector. All right, I've got a scene set up to demonstrate what this is. All right, so we've got this nice little Hawaiian background, and then I bring in something else, right? I want this image incorporated in here, but I don't want, let's just pretend that I don't want this yellow color here in the box, right? Well, how are we gonna do that? Right-click the source, go to Filters, add a filter, color key. Okay. And now, what I've had to do in the past, and I'll show you what I've been doing. I'll click this, I'll go to custom color, and then I go to select color, and then here, I need that hex code, right? So then I have to take the image, the JPEG of that little mystery box, put it in Photoshop, use the color drop thing to select the color that I want to get rid of, copy that code, put it into OBS, blah, 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 blah. Okay, there's a way easier way to do that. You guys ready to have your minds blown? You see this button here that says pick screen color? Click that, and then hover over the color that you want to key out and click it. Then click OK, and boom. Look at that. It got rid of that color. Now, you can also say, I definitely only want that color and no colors anywhere near that specific color to be blended out. Just take similarity and smoothness and bring them all the way down to 1. Basically what similarity is it's a way of saying, like, I want that color and this many colors within this much of a range of that color to also be blended out. So the more similarity you add, the more similar colors it's going to start removing, right? But if you set it at 1, then you're saying, I don't want you to decide that other colors are similar to this color and therefore should also go. I want only this one color gone. Well, there you go. And you could change it. You could go, you know what, actually, I only wanted the dark brown to go and not the really light one. Well, there you go. Now only the dark brown is gone. Pretty coolly, yo. Yo. Pretty coolly, yo. Yo. Yo! Simon C with the 100 bits. Thank you. Dude. It is all for CRN. I don't know if you guys know about this little thing. We've been raising money for Crisis Relief Network on this channel. Every single bit, sub, donation, all of it gets donated. Photoshop method is exactly what I've been doing. I know, right? Now, is this not so much better? Because it's so fast. Like, I could go in here and be like, oh, filters. Oh, I want to get rid of a bunch of that blue in the sky. Okay. Click custom color. Select color. Pick screen color. Click the sky. Okay. Obviously, this looks hideous. And there's a number of reasons why it looks hideous, right? Yes, I wanted to get rid of the blue in the sky, but there's also blue in the water. There's blue in some of the little bits of the mountains and the palm trees and things. So you obviously have to be careful with this, right? It's not a one-click solves every problem kind of a method. Those colors that you want to get rid of have to be contained, right? And so that's why when I got rid of the little yellow in there, well, it looked nice because it's contained within other colors where it's not sharing that same data with many different parts of the design. So there you go. Now you're looking at this disgusting screen, and there you are. All right. I pretty much covered those 3 topics. If you want me to go back to any of those things, let me know in chat. But also, I would say now's the time to pretty much hit me with any other questions you can think of. What kind of things are you hoping to learn in OBS, or projects that you're developing right now that you think if you ask a question you might get an answer for? I'm ready. And I hope you guys so far have enjoyed this, because this is kind of awesome to be able to do this. I don't know. And keep in mind, like, I'm not a wizard here, right? I never worked for OBS. I didn't stream until a year ago, right? The only reason why I know all this crap is because I have to for work. But I definitely don't know more than a lot of people. I bet you there's people who've been streaming 5-6 years and know everything that can be possibly done under the sun. Does lowering bitrate help with lag? Yes, but bitrate is not necessarily the key ingredient, right? So let's go in here and look at this for just a second. I'm just going to go into the settings. We're going to go to output. And we're going to look at this, right? Now I'm going to change this to simple, because simple is where everyone starts. You download the program, and you're looking at simple. Has a bit rate, an encoder, an audio bit rate, recording quality, but that's for recording local videos. Don't worry about those things. But this is basically it. You go into simple, and it says bit rate. That's the thing that you get to change, right? So it definitely seems like this is the key ingredient, but it's really not. I always recommend that you go into advanced mode, and then you work on it in here. X24 is what most people are used to seeing, which is a software encoder, right? Well, I've been told that hardware encoders are 90% of the time more effective for streaming. So I set it to a hardware encoder. So like NVIDIA, right, is the brand of video card that I have in my computer, so that's what I selected. Now you've got bitrate here. I tell people 1500 is a good starting ground, right? 1500 is usually good for most newer computers and the type of internet upload speed that you probably have. Now you can go up or down from there, right? But 1500 is going to tell you whether you're stable, right? Stream at 1500. Usually, now you have this extra number, keyframe interval. What is that? I don't know, but I tell people start at 2. If you're going to use 1500, start at 2. Your preset, quality, performance, I don't know. Play with them. Or I'm sure there's a video somewhere that tells you what the differences are between all of those. Quality sounds fine to me, I guess. I'm not trying to go max quality because I want you to see the little ladybug on the under the pixel on the leaf of the bush in Fortnite. Like, I don't, So, quality. There's also stuff like low latency quality, low latency performance. This to me is like the difference between soy milk, almond milk, whatever. Profile, main. Profile, set it to main, baby. Main profile. And then there you go. And apply that and try that. Now, if you find that your stream is really smooth and you think you could push a little bit more quality out of it, change it to 2000. But if you go there, then change your keyframe interval to 0 so that it will sort of automatically ride the quality that's going out. If you have to go lower than 1500, go to 1000. And then maybe do your keyframes at like 8. Now, the other thing that you definitely need to keep in mind here. Oh, and you just brought up a really great thing. You just brought up a really awesome thing. 2 things. I'm writing it down so I don't forget, because I'll start talking about the one and then the other will be gone. I think it's called Twitch Tester. There we go. All right. Obviously, the other key ingredient here is not just your settings in OBS, it's your actual upload speed at home with your internet provider. So one of the things that I always recommend people do is they go to speedtest.net. Oh gosh, I can't type. Let's go into this scene. It's a little less weird. All right, you go to speedtest.net and you click go and you test your internet connection. Now, don't do it when you're streaming. And in fact, it's best, I say, to just do it right when you start up your computer. Don't open any other programs. Don't open any other browsers. Don't have any other tabs open. Just click go and wait. Now, I could do it right now, but I bet you it would lag the crap out of my computer. But what it's going to do is it's going to give you an upload speed. Write that number down the first time and then do another speed test. The number's probably going to be a little bit different, but write that number down as well and do another one. Now look at those 3 numbers and say, do those seem consistent within a range of plus or minus, 0.5 megabytes? Or do they vary wildly? It's like, at first I got 1 meg, then it said 11 megs, then it said 5 megs. Okay, if it's varying wildly, then you might want to contact your internet service provider and say, hey, look, my service is crazy, it's up, it's down. Now, if it's consistent and it says, hey, you got 10 megs every time thereabouts, then, oh, great, you got a good internet connection. So you know you can rule that out as a thing that might be a problem. Now, the other thing that you can do if you want to get really hardcore about this is you could get an app called like Twitch Tester. Let me see if I have it on my computer still. I don't even know. But if I do, I will show it to you. I bet you I still have it. So much crap on here. There it is, twitchtest.exe. And yep, there it is. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you guys. If not, I'll just window capture it. Let me see if I can window capture it. Basically what this is it's a software that you can use to specifically ping different Twitch servers, ingest servers, and say like, I want to see what my ping and like bandwidth is with all the different like local ingest points for Twitch and see which one's the best one. So instead of looking, here, I'm going to go in OBS for a sec. Instead of just saying like stream and then server auto, I'm like, I want to pick whichever is the best one out of this list right here, right? I want to pick the fastest one. Well, if you want to do that, oh crap, you can't even see what I'm doing because it's window capture. I'll go back. All right, settings, stream, and see where it says server auto. And then there's all these other server names. Like if you're like, I want to know which one to go to. All right, so now we'll go back to that scene and I'll show you what this is. So what you do, and I know when you download this thing, there's like a help me file and it tells you like, do this, do that, do that. Like TCP window size. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. I don't think you're supposed to use automatic OBS, although that, oh, it's not even showing you these options. But there's automatic OBS. I don't know if you're supposed to use that or not. The default 64K. Again, read the README files of these things. The test duration is how much time it's gonna spend pinging each individual one, right? So don't think that in 10 seconds you're gonna have a result from all these lists. No, it's gonna test each one for 10 seconds and then go to the next one and go to the next one. It's almost like it's streaming a very tiny bit of data out to it, but no one's obviously seeing it, right? And your stream key, no one's gonna see your stream key, like it's safe. What I would recommend you do is you do at least a long one, 60 seconds. And if you have a lot of time, do the longest one. Do 5 minutes per server. And then just go have lunch and come back and see your results. Regions to test. If you're not in Europe, don't test in Europe. Don't test in Asia. Don't test in other. If you're in the US, test in the US. And then, yeah, close anything else that might be using internet, close it. Okay, again, this is another thing that I would say only do like right when you start your computer up. Don't open any other crap. Be like, all right, as soon as I turn my computer on, I'm doing this test. And then you do it. And ultimately what it's gonna do is it's gonna populate a list of each of those servers in the US, and it's gonna give you different results. It'll give you a quality rating. Closer to 100 is, you know, the best. It'll give you a bandwidth rating where it's saying like, here's your ping and here is the bit rate, essentially, that it was able to receive from you. Now, if it says that, you know, the best one out there is receiving 2000, then you should probably use 1500 bit rate in OBS. You want to leave a little bit extra, right? You don't want to go right to the peak of what you can do because you're going to have problems. You want to give yourself that little bit of buffer space. So yeah, I would say anywhere from 300 to 500 a gap between what it says your best is and what you're actually going to stream at. And then there you go. I don't remember where to get this thing, but it's called Twitch Bandwidth Test. Hopefully that answered the question without being way more than you ever wanted to hear. Do you do anything particular when you capture Zoom so that it looks professional? No, not really. But I can show you a few things. Let me see if I I don't think I'll be able to get anybody in a call. But I probably don't need to get anybody in a call. I could just start a meeting and show you. And I'll just explain whatever I need to explain. Huh? Talking to me? Punk? Oh, she's yelling at cats, guys. She's yelling at cats. And of course, this is a great idea for me to open a freaking web conference program while I'm streaming. All right. So, yes, failed video. Great. All right. So when you have participants in here, you're going to have this like option up here to choose gallery view versus speaker view, right? Now, if you've got a guest and it's your only guest, then don't have your self view on. Put it in speaker view so that your guest is the biggest size cam in the shot. And one of the things that you can do is you can actually right click, and when you have another guest, you'll see an option that said hide self view. You want to hide that because right now all you're seeing, because you can't use your webcam that you're using in OBS and Zoom at the same time, is it'll just say your name like it says right now. It says my name, but it'll show that as a cam, just the name in gray. So hide that, and then it'll probably make your other sources bigger so that you'll have more quality of the person that you're looking at. Now, if you have multiple people and you want to show all of them on your stream at the same time, then you definitely want to be in gallery view where everyone has the same size as everybody else. No one speaker is bigger than the others. Those are kind of my basic key points. Oh, and then there's this little mini viewer here. This thing sucks. So when you're window capturing, you obviously don't want to minimize because then it does this. So you want to keep it maximized, but then you just want it you don't need it in the foreground, right? So get back to whatever it is that you want in the foreground instead of that. Don't minimize it. Oftentimes when you're window capturing things that are constantly updating, right? They might freeze if you minimize them. But if you keep them maximized and you just have them in the background behind other crap that you're using, then they'll continue to feed live stuff. It's better to have a bitrate that's a power of 2 multiplied by 100. So for example, 6400 will be less laggy than 6000. That sounds about right. Yeah, in the units, the tech units, right? I don't know if you could tell my stream was lagging a lot yesterday when you were watching. I did see, yes, I saw some lag, and there was also some delay in your voice between the voice and the video. And I could show you guys how to deal with that as well. So let's say your viewers tell you, like, hey, it's weird, your voice is not matching your mouth. Well, if you could get them to be a bit more specific about that, then you could figure out what to do. What I like to ask is, are you hearing my voice before my lips, or are my lips going and then you're hearing my voice after, right? And it's a fraction of a second usually. Now, if it's more than a fraction of a second, you probably have bigger issues than just audio sync. But if you have a steady stream, stable stream, it's high quality, your bit rate's great, blah, 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 everything's smooth, but that is the problem that people are talking about, then here's what you do. If they say, yeah, your voice is faster than your mouth. Okay, so they're hearing me say blah before my mouth goes blah. So you're going to go right-click somewhere in your mixer and go to Advanced Audio Properties. So let me see if I can make things bigger. I need to always check to see if I can make things bigger for you guys so that you can see. All right. So find the source that is your microphone, right? So mine is, let's say it's mic aux 1. Well, then what you're going to do is you're going to add some sync offset here. And this is measured in milliseconds. So if my voice is coming through before my mouth is, meaning the audio is hitting faster than the video, they're not moving at the same time, the audio is ahead of the video, then add an offset for that audio. I usually start at 240, right? So that's about what? That's a quarter of a second, right? 240 milliseconds. And then what that's going to do is it's going to tell the audio to slow down a little bit, right? To try to match your video. If you need more still, then you keep adding it until they're parallel. And now my mouth and my voice are happening at the same time. If it's the other way around, where the video is ahead of the audio, and I gotta tell you, I've never experienced that before, but if for some reason it is, then I don't know if you can go negative here. Maybe you can. But that's a little odd to me, because then that is almost like telling the mixer to tell the video to back up. That's a little strange. I don't know that that will work. Never tried it, because honestly, I've never heard of it happening the other way around. I don't know if you can tell my streams. Is there an OBS option to make the guy on the right go away? Yes. You're welcome. I don't know. I kind of know. Those numbers, I like to go like, when I'm talking about bit rates, I like to go like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. But I think it's totally arbitrary. I only use mediumware encoding. Well, that shows. I'm on a Mac and there's an Apple hardware encoder option, but I read online that it's terrible, so I stick with X264. Yeah, Mac is going to be a whole different beast, I think, than PC. What if you did 2000 bit rate and 2 keyframe? How do you know what keyframes complement which bit rates? I think, from my understanding, pretty much anything above 1500, you could just set to 0. Because then it's just going to automatically ride your performance as you go. Below 1500, you're kind of admitting